Hey, you're listening to Rising into Mindful Motherhood. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Wood. I'm a barefoot mama bear, pharmacist, integrative fertility health coach, and lover of all things nature and animals. I'm on a mission to have intentional conversations about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, and beyond. My mindful guests and I will be talking about struggles, wins, natural wellness, and how we grow and transform as we enter motherhood. My background in healthcare has shown me how broken our medical system is. My own struggles to become pregnant has shown the lack of support for mamas to be, the lack of guidance for women to have a nourishing and vibrant pregnancy, the isolation, mom guilt, and all the things we hold after bringing baby earthside. I want this platform to be a place where women can feel connected, safe, and supported to share and hear their stories. A place to use our voice to discuss and advocate about what we need and deserve as mothers. So let's dive in, shall we? Hello and welcome to Rising into Mindful Motherhood. I'm super excited for our conversation today. I'll be chatting with Alice, who is a mother of two. She's a well-being advocate and happiness coach. She'll be sharing today about how to reconnect with your children without sacrificing your identity and happiness. So welcome, Alice. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, Katie. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's start off with you sharing a little bit about your journey into motherhood.
Yeah, well, to start. So I guess it's back in 2015, I got engaged. Okay, so we don't go before that. If we talk about motherhood, I was engaged in 2015. The plan was, okay, we get married in 2017, then we have children, all those, we always have that kind of ideas. We have a house and this and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But the kid, I was 3 months pregnant when we got married, which was actually a surprise, a happy surprise, but it caught me off guard because I had my plan in head, and then my kid, my son, was actually coming, and I was in the middle of doing my massage, holistic and sport massage diploma, so it was a full year, and I was also, for the first time in my career, enjoying my job. I was really fulfilled. I had a good job, a good position where I could see the promotion coming close,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything got trashed because, well, I had to stop for maternity leave and all. So I went into motherhood with wanting to have a child, but not planning so quickly, and it caught me off guard, like I said. I think I've had some issues with that. I wasn't honest with myself at the start, but I think I had issues with the fact that that was not planned as it was in my head, and I was in my career, and now I have to rethink of everything, especially that when I came back from maternity, I was like, you know what? I can do it all. It's not because I'm a mom that I wanted children that I can't do it all. So I'm going to have my children. I'm going to rock at my job. I'm going to get promoted. And I'm also opening my massage therapy side business. I was really crazy at the time, but I thought, you know what? It's not because you want children that you can't have it all. That was really my mindset there. But it came from me so rebellious, was rebellion, and so a bit of anger, I think. When I remember myself telling myself this, I was very angry of, okay, I'm going back. I didn't get my promotion, but I'm going to start again where I was, and everything will be fine. And actually led me 6 months later to a burnout. I was just trying to do too much, but believing that, moms who wants to have a career, they should be able to do it all, right? Like I had no idea what I was stepping into when I was having children. So that's my start of motherhood. I had beautiful pregnancy, no problem with birth, everything fine, but it's just the kind of like, oh my God, what am I doing now? And have to rethink of everything that you had planned in your head, which was very difficult for me. And yeah, I could go on like this for a long time until my second child, so I had my so I'm actually thinking again, when you think of all the things I went through. So I had my burnout. That's when I really started to think of, okay, I need to take this into my own hand. I need to think about my wellness. I need to think about my health, and I need to figure out how am I going to continue. I want my career. There's no way I'm a stay-at-home mom. There's never been an option for me. I want to have an independence. I want to have my career. I want to have my children, but I also want to have my business. I want to grow a business. My idea was to quit corporate. That was always in my head. So there's a lot, going on, a lot of overwhelm with all that I wanted to reach, or all the goals I had in my head. But I did journey. So I did a lot in my company. I went to see a therapist, and then I had a miscarriage because of all that happening. And then what else? I'm forgetting. And then I got pregnant 6 months later. COVID hit, and another kind of like comes in that situation where, okay, I have to stay at home. I have to figure out. And I just continued my journey. I was like, okay, I'm going to continue my healing journey. I want to learn more. I don't want to have a burnout anymore. That's not an option. And I want to be more calm. I was so overwhelmed, so stressed out, and so angry at my kid. I remember waking up one night so angry that I was so exhausted. And I was like, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? I can't do it anymore. So that was very tough to start with, especially realizing that you are not the mother you want to be. You're not reacting in a way that feels right. But the more I was going into it, the more I was in this loop, and I couldn't get out of it. But yeah, I started to study gentle birth to make sure that I was as quiet, as relaxed as possible for my maternity. And then I stumbled into coaching, and I got my own coach, and I learned to coach. And that's what I'm doing here now. I'm still working full-time in corporate, raising 2 young children, still figuring it out every day.
Yeah.
But I have learned a lot ever since this burnout, which was my trigger. I was like, I have to do a lot of inner journey. And I healed a lot of overwhelmed and a lot of anger. Still happens sometimes, but that's not something you can stop completely if you've been doing it for 30 years. And I can say now that I feel much more calm and confident, even though I'm still having a lot of question marks around parenting. How should we do, and what should we not do, or all those questions, like, who am I to do this, or so many questions yet around parenting. But I'm trying to just take it a day at a time, not thinking about it and not stressing about it, especially just one day at a time is my motto. It's really, okay, today is going to be a good day, and it's only today, and I really want to take it a day at a time. So I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, not at all. No, thank you for sharing. Yeah, definitely having what we expect to happen and the timeline that we have in our minds, having that kind of flipped on its head. I mean, that's a pretty big life-changing event to happen before you expect it to happen. So I can only imagine how many feelings and emotions and thoughts were stirring around in your head, especially since you had so many goals for your current job. But what would you say after all of that has been your biggest lesson so far after going through all of that?
Well, you had to go through all of this to actually get out of it. That's the lesson, like you have to actually face these things to actually realize that something's not working, something's not right, that you have to do some work to get better. So I think I had to live it to actually be able to share it, and also get out of this loop that would ultimately leave me very resentful in at the end of my life if I hadn't done anything about it.
Yeah. And that identity that we lose and shift from as we enter into motherhood can be pretty raw. It can be pretty vulnerable. Is there anything that you want to speak to that about what you experienced?
Yeah, I mean, again, it was all about, like, it's not because I'm a mom that I can't do this. This keeps playing in my head, remembering I was telling myself that. And I think that's just the pressure that we have to be like a mom, has to be able to work, has to be able to do all this stuff. And I'm like, this can't be, this is just not right. This is not fair. And I think still today I'm trying to find my balance. It still is, I want to have my side hustle. I want to have my career, but I don't want to feel like I'm leaving my kids. But I also know that it's good for them and it's good for me. So it's just, it's always, it's just identity is something that I don't even know what we could say identity anymore, because I've been looking for it for my whole teenage years, like, who am I? What am I supposed to do here? And these questions always came in. And when I became a mom and I was starting to see something happening in my life, it's like, oh, now I have to do it again. And I have to start again. Who am I? Who am I supposed to be? Who do I want to be as well? It's like, how do I want to show up? Because it's not anymore just me or my husband, it's also the kids. And that puts so much pressure, because I don't want my kids to go through what I've gone through growing up completely isolated and lost. And and I guess, it's just redefining yourself is really hard. But it's, for me, what I learned from that is, if I really listen to my emotions, to my intuition, if I just follow what feels right to me, then there's no need to know who am I, what am I supposed to do. I just go with the flow. And that's the big transformation, the things I've learned, I've really focused on. The motto we say, it's all about the journey, not the destination.
Yep.
Because for me, I was always so much focused, and I have to do this, I have to get this in order to feel that way. All this, all those stories. But now I figure out that I don't need to know who am I, or have a word, or have a definition, or expectations. I just go with the flow. I just feel into, does that make me feel good or not? If it makes me feel good, I want more of it. If it doesn't, I want less of it. So I work towards having more what feels good and less what feels not good. And then things happen that you wouldn't have thought about before, just by following your instinct and your I like to say, your emotional compass. Feels good, I go this way. Doesn't feel good, I don't want that. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's, again, the flow, and one day at a time. This is all that matters. If you chase something, you'll never get it, and you get frustrated and anger and resentful. And it doesn't serve anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So what sort of changes have you made for yourself? I know you mentioned, you check in with yourself, what feels good, what feels bad, but what other things have you kind of done to help you be able to show up a little bit more fully and more present with your kids?
Well, actually, before being able to tune to my body, I had to do a lot of work on slowing down and actually quieting the mind chatter. When I was telling you about overwhelm, there's so much in my head. I couldn't even think. There was no space between what was happening and myself. So I couldn't really think of what I was doing. I was just in the moment, headless chicken, doing stuff without knowing. So I had to really learn to slow down, and take more care of myself. But also, so I started to be very curious about, why am I doing this? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I crying? What happened? Working a lot of the awareness. Why? Always asking myself why. What is going on? I don't want this. What can I do different? And always making this work in my head of, this is not working. There has to be another way, like changing it. And also through gentle birth, because I had I did a home birth for the second child. It was a home birth. It was beautiful, but I had to learn to really work on my mindset and on the, the positive and the calm and stuff. So that's really helped me starting to build on my mindset muscle of being more positive, more curious, and less judgmental. So that's where I started. I started with the mindset. What's going on in my head? So how can I reframe? How can I focus on the good thing? It's not easy. It's just like, it's an everyday work you have to do to start rewiring your brain. But the mindset was like the first thing I worked on. And then with mindset, every time I was angry, I was crying, asking myself why, what happened, and trying to give myself compassion and acceptance, which was very, very hard. To just accept what is. It's a situation, so the acceptance was another part, is still a very big part of accepting this is it. It's not wrong, it's not good, it's just it. Okay, let's move forward. How do I want to feel? How do I want to be? This is not working. Okay, and instead of beating myself up, I was like, okay, I hate myself right now. I'm going to stay with this, but I'm going to move away from it. There's no point staying in that loop. So that was always a lot of mind work, to really get detached from the emotions, from the reactions. And then I just started like a minute meditation here and there. I just started to say, okay, I'm going to take a pause, very small steps at a time, because I was so always doing. There's no point telling me I'm going to take half an hour to do nothing. Like, no way, when you start. So it was always small steps. And the more you take, the more you get confidence, and the more you do. And that's how I develop. But again, it's always on a day-to-day. It's like, okay, what can I do today to make it better? And now I have found some very simple routine that doesn't take much time, but it's all about stretching in the morning, moving and getting the flow moving, focusing. Every day I only focus on 2 or 3 things I can do. You can't do it all. Like, I have a long list like that, but priorities change every day. So I'm trying to really focus on, this is all I can do, but that is what's going to make me the most fulfilled, or going to make me the further ahead, or every time prioritizing what can I do today. I only have an hour. Maybe I have loads of meetings, maybe I have loads going on. If I only have 1 hour, what am I going to do? So this 5 minutes a day of focusing for planning my day, I've resisted it a lot, but now that I'm doing it, so much different. To just know that if I just do this, it's enough, and I'm okay with it, because I know these are the most important topics or actions that I have to take for today or this week. So again, it's all a mental work, and then I stretch in the evening. This would be I manage with time to incorporate those 3 things in my day, which help me really relax and work on my awareness and bring more space. This is really the word for me as well, bringing space between my head and the action, so I can really think and do actions that are meaningful, that make sense, and not just reacting to things. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I love all of that. But definitely when you mentioned needing to slow down, kind of, rein yourself in, because that has been really big for me and my journey with my motherhood as well. Just noticing, like, okay, I'm trying to do too much, putting way too much pressure on myself, because I think that that's just in our nature to do that, to feel like we have to do all of the things and be the perfect parent, and just always give it 110%, but you can only do that so much before you burn out. So definitely slowing down is a huge part. And then that can help you tap into that awareness that you were talking about, which is so important, because I don't think that you can really make any changes without having that awareness.
Exactly.
And then tapping into that mindfulness, and I love your tips about what you do during the day, stretching in the morning, prioritizing, the top few things that are most important for your day. Because that's also something I have learned I have to do as well, because I call it my like perpetual to-do list. But obviously, like, when you look at that whole list, it can be so overwhelming to the mind, versus if you have 3 things, it's like, okay, this is what I'm focusing on today. And it creates so much more space for ourselves and our family. So I love that. I love that so much.
Cool. Yeah, but it took me a long, long time to actually manage to focus on those 3, because in the perfectionism and I have to do more, the kind of belief that we have in our head that comes from childhood, from society. I have to do more. It's not enough. So it took me like 2 years to really get from the day I said I'm going to do this to the day I actually do it on a regular basis. It took me 2 years because there was so much resistance, so much like, yes, but what if I should do this? What if this? What if? And but again, when you're attuned to your emotions and when you feel like, okay, this is the most important because this is going to take me much further, or it's going to make me feel much better. If you really use that emotional compass within you, these focus makes much more sense. But you really have to have all this kind of different tools in your toolkit in order to be able to sustain at any of these, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is something you would say that helps you, on top of what you already do, kind of show up fully and completely with your children? What do you think is like the biggest needle mover for you?
It's just how it makes me feel when I get angry and when I yell. I've got so over it. I'm like, okay, this, remembering like every time I snap afterwards, I'm like, next time, no, I'm really embodying the fact that there's no way I want this. I don't want this anymore. And the more I tell myself, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel, and also, and when things go well, I was like, God, this is so good. So I remember. So I really kind of remember, give myself the small hint, like those things that I can remember and go, I don't want to feel that way. There's no way. So I'm going to find another way. And when I stop, I'm like, okay, again, I want to feel that way. So for me, that's the thing. It's like being so angry at myself for not being who I want to be, that it really triggers me when I do it. So I'm like, okay, next time I'm really going to work really hard and then do everything. And when everything goes well, I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Gratification as well of like remembering, God, I managed to do it. And it's actually feels good. And the more you do this, like what I said, the confidence, the more you do those small things, the more you build that you build the confidence muscle, and you're kind of like so much easier to do it without feeling stressed and angry and all that thing. So it really is like, I don't want to show it that way for my kids. I hate them crying because of me. And that's why now I make a point of, okay, this is finished. The rest can wait. And I'm with my kids now. Some days it's easier than others, of course. You're tired, you still have stuff going on, but it's really making a choice and an intention that I choose not to feel that way anymore. It's not fair on me. It's not fair on them. And if I continue, I also remind myself, if I continue that path, I'm going to regret it. And I'm going to lose connection, and it's definitely not what I want. So sometimes you have to give yourself this hard, direct pep talk. Either you do something or you just stay stuck, but don't be the victim or don't blame anyone, because this is all I knew. You also have to be a bit harsh with yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
To make some hard choices.
Yeah. And sometimes, and I deal with this myself too. I think a lot of times we want to put the blame on our children. But when you do kind of increase your awareness, it can be a hard pill to swallow when you realize, like, no, I'm the one who needs to work on some inner child healing and work on my triggers, or the chatter that's going on in my head, or the limiting beliefs, the perfectionism, so many things. That can be really, really hard to accept, but then also to act on it as well. So I think that that's beautiful that you've been working on that and you've been sticking with it. I mean, you mentioned it took you 2 years to get to that place, but think about, you mentioned your children are 4.5 and 2, so they're still so young, and you'll be instilling in them so many amazing values and tools as they grow up into adults that they can use.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what I hope, but yeah, it's, you always have this little demon talk in your head, like, no, it's you still don't do enough. But yeah, we have to trust that we are doing our best. And I know that I'm doing the right things to get better, but it's a hard work, like the emotional work and the fact that everything is on you, it's not them, and all the fears and it's a very hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do it just overnight. You really have to build that muscle first in order to be able to dig into those very deep core emotions that are sometimes scary.
Yeah, they can be. That is for sure. So I know you had mentioned to me that you are a certified mastery method coach and that you use somatic coaching. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about that and what that looks like?
Yeah. So I learned coaching with a coach slash therapist, Alisa Nobriga, and she does a very holistic approach to coaching. So it's not just, those goal questions and, well, there's loads of different coaching, but I love the holistic approach when you look at all levels of being, because, that's what I do with massage. And for me, it's like you have to work on the mind, the spirit, the body, the everything. And I discovered with her the emotional work. So I realized when I worked with her that I was repressing all my emotions. I
Mm,
was just not, and when I discovered that actually all this anger, all the body pain I may have, it's all repressed emotions. And you learn to just let them go, and you learn to accept that all emotions are okay. There's no good or bad, it's just a label we put on it. So I learned that with her, and the somatic is just one small approach. When you look at the whole holistic approach, and it's all about that. It's all about being with the present emotion without the story. So, like, I'm angry. Yeah, okay, let's be with that emotion. Let's just accept that you're angry. It's nothing wrong, you know? And that's the somatic. It's like, okay, how do you feel right now? How does it activate in your body? What do you feel? And just be with this. And actually, if you just allow the emotions to be in your body, just like an energy,
mm-hmm.
if you allow it, after 90 seconds, there's this rule of 90 seconds. I don't know who mentioned that first, but after 90 seconds of just allowing the emotions, it goes away. But if you resist being angry, if you say, no, I'm not allowed to be angry, I shouldn't be angry, then you get angrier and angrier, and it lasts forever, and it's not helpful, right? So with the somatic, we bring the client to a place of in the now. Whatever the story comes, they come with a story, and you can see them talking a lot and mind chatter and getting overwhelmed and hyperventilating and all. You just bring them back to the body sensation and realize that whatever they were saying, it's just in their head, but the emotion is just an energy, and it just is here to show you that something is not right, to show you it wants your safety, it wants you to feel good. So just be present with that in your body, and then it actually releases so much. It's just, I've seen how powerful it was on me, and whenever I do it with a client, it is just amazing. I'm even myself always amazed how a simple somatic work sometimes can release so much, or can bring so much more awareness into one situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually you have to see it to really understand it. But yeah, it's all about quitting the chatter and being with the present emotion and the present energy in your body, to just let it go and move it through you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. And that's one way that I support my fertility clients, because when you repress our emotions, they typically manifest in physical symptoms at times. And a lot of times, especially in regards to fertility, we hold it in our sacral chakra. So being able to be present with those emotions can be hard. It's definitely harder to do. It's easier said than done, but it really can make such a difference by doing that. So that's beautiful that you support your clients in that way.
Yeah, same way. Yeah.
So what are other ways that you support your clients? I know you've mentioned massage.
Well, massage is on hold right now. I'm having it. I really would like to incorporate the whole coaching and massage, and having kind of I don't know, some more holistic but on different aspect. But right now I'm started with COVID and with my full-time work and the kids, it's just not possible. But I don't quit the hope that one day I can really bring everything together. I do actually a lot of somatic. When I think about it, I do a lot of somatic because it is so powerful to quit this mind chatter. And the client who comes to me are the ones that I get very overwhelmed, and it really helps. So, and it's just by reconnecting with their power. And also, there's another aspect that I really emphasis on is how they have the control to choose their destiny. You know, it's a bit weird to say that, choose your destiny, but the word choosing is so powerful. And I want to give them back the power, knowing that they have everything they need within them, not trying to expect someone to do things for them. You know, that the blaming and the victim mindset, I've been in this for so long. But when I realized that I had all in me and I could choose, and I had it actually shift completely your perspective, and actually it really helps you feel more powerful and feel more in control of your life, because we all want to feel in control, right? So this is also the emphasis through somatic and through some embodiment work. I want them to realize that they have it all in them and they should not expect anything from people, and they just need to be with them in the now, living in the now, in the present, without the story. So yeah, that's embodiment work, somatic, and empowerment of choosing your own destiny are the three main emphasis. But you know, I even though I use those techniques, it can go so differently from a session to another. We're doing like I do programs where we work for 3 months together, and everything it can be very different from a session to another. And I just, again, I really go with the flow. I go with what the client want to achieve and how they feel. And yeah, it's hard to put a word or to explain what I do. It's just I go with the flow. I just go with my intuition. I go with what feels right in this instance, and I'm just listening, and I'm just here to follow their path. I don't have like a set questions or a set of techniques that I know I will use at this time or that time. I just use my toolkit, but very much I use their own power and their own confidence to build on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. It sounds like you really intentionally hold space for your clients. And then that's amazing that you just kind of listen and go with your intuition on how to best guide them as well.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that we haven't talked about today that you wanted to bring up on our beautiful conversation?
Thanks. You know what? It's so hard. You know, when we started this call, my daughter was screaming next door, so I didn't even have time. And that's the thing, you know, when we're talking about being in the zone for ourselves and looking after ourselves. I didn't have this 5 minutes before a call to really gather myself and hold. And now I can feel like I am in here, but I'm still, and that's the thing. Is just I don't know. I don't know what else I would like to add. There's probably so much we could say, but if there's one thing I just want to remind every mom is that we're doing our best. There's no answers. There's no right or wrong. There's no answer I can give them. There's just like trusting that you can do it. You can do good every day, and don't blame yourself. Just move forward and don't look in the past. We're all in this together, and you know, things happened, and we've got this. We will manage, but there's no answer. So don't try to look for answers or to look for the perfect solution that doesn't exist. It's just what feels right in the present moment. And I think that's what matters the most for me, is like really living in the present moment, and trying not to focus on tomorrow too much, if that makes any sense. Because our kids are now, you know, like they are present beings. They're really human being, and not we are human doing, but they're so here, and we have to be meeting them where they are, not trying to think of, oh, what are they becoming if I screw up today, are they become bad kids? Like this is the thing that had me in my head so often. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? They're gonna become so bad children. But we have to stop thinking that. And I'm really already repressing it. It's like, I don't know about it, but all I know is I give them love. I give them all I can right now. And I know that I want to improve every day. And that's all we can do. Yeah, I think that's the main message I want to share today.
Yeah, I love that. I was going to ask, do you have any words of wisdom or encouragement for any mothers who are feeling stuck or overwhelmed? But that, I think you got it right there. So definitely just holding compassion and grace for yourself. And tomorrow is always a new day. And you said it right. Our children live in the present moment, and their curiosity is really contagious. So if you kind of allow yourself to do that with them, it can be so magical, really. So, well, oh my gosh, that was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your gifts with us today, Alice. Thank you for tuning in today. Make sure that you follow, share, and leave a rating so we can connect with more mamas to feel supported and heard in their journey. And I will see you on the next episode.